Let's move on to Sunday action. We start with young Jose Bouquet's New York Jets, 7-5, 4-2 on the road at the Buffalo Bills, 9-3, 4-1 at home, Highmark Stadium, Orchard Park, New York, 41 Fahrenheit, showers 9 miles per hour. This was a Week 9 matchup between these two teams where the Jets won at home 2017 in impressive fashion and held the Buffalo Bills offense to only 5.2 yards per play. Now they meet again. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. We have these Buffalo Bills opening up as a big favorite, minus 9.5. It was a pick 'em. There's been 4 cents of movement to the Bills. Initially, the move was towards the Jets at the 9.5 price. The Jets got up to minus 115 on the 9.5. But right now, it's almost even money for the Jets at 9.5, which means a 10 could be coming. This total opened up at 45 and has dropped a point to 44. Looking at the cash flow here for this one, we have pulled up here. We have the slightest of line value on the Jets, less than 5%. 5,677 tickets in. 46% of the tickets and 92% of the cash is on the Buffalo Bills. If anybody's wondering why this move is looking like it's going to be a 10. Then you have 46% of tickets and 89% of cash on the under. Jets come in off a 27-22 loss at Minnesota. Mike White, 31-57 for 369 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Garrett Wilson looked great, 8 catches for 162. Corey Davis caught 5 for 85. Zonovan Knight ran 15 times for 90 yards, caught 5 for 28. James Robinson continues to get no run. He carried the ball 4 times for 10 yards. The Jets finished with 199 more total yards than the Vikings, but lost. It just keeps happening and happening. We'll talk more about it when we're going over the Vikings game, but they outgained the Vikings 5.9 yards per play to 4.3. But as Andy spoke about, this team was 1-6 in the red zone. They were 3 for 16 on third down, but they held the Vikings to 287 yards, but they couldn't stop them when it mattered most. Vikings finished 9 of 18 on third down. Jets finished with 2 sacks and 9 quarterback hits. Michael Carter inactive, so Zonovan Knight got his first start at running back. Max Mitchell started at right tackle for Cedric Obui. George Fant took over from Mitchell in the second quarter. The Bills come in off extra rest and prep after their easy 24-10 win at the Patriots last Thursday. Josh Allen, 22 of 33, 223 yards, 2 touchdowns, became the first player in NFL history with 3 seasons of 25 passing touchdowns and 5 rushing touchdowns. They were 9 of 13 on third down, 3 for 3 in the red zone, completely dominated the football game. Stephon Diggs had 7 receptions for 92 yards and a touchdown. First player in team history to record multiple seasons with 10-plus receiving touchdowns. Isaiah McKenzie looks like the number 2 out there, taking Gabe Davis' spot. 5 catches for 44 yards. James Cook ran 14 times for 64 yards and caught 4 for 41. This defense finished with just 1 sack and 4 quarterback hits, but they completely neutralized the Pats' offense. And they were without Von Miller, who, he thought he could be back for this game, but he's been put on IR. It's not up to him. And Greg Rousseau and AJ Epinesa came back, and they were I think Rousseau and Epinesa, if you add them and take off Von Miller, you're probably stronger defense. Tremaine Edmonds, Tre'Davious White have also returned the lineup to give them more punch. They held the Pats to 242 yards of offense and 3 for 12 on third down. Jordan Phillips left with a shoulder issue. He gave himself clean bill of health. He's good to go. Yeah. He could have come back in. Quisenberry left late in the third quarter with an ankle injury. Deion Dawkins was sat, and Quisenberry replaced him. And so troublesome knee issues for Quisenberry. That's the situation. So Deion Dawkins with an ankle injury, Quisenberry with a knee injury. So we'll see if they are in the lineup here come Sunday. Here we go. Jets, Bills. This one will be fun in the rain, it looks like. Take it away for us, Andy.
Yeah, I think that's why you're seeing some under money. But it's Tuesday, and we're predicting bad weather like 5-6 days in advance. I played this over. It's still a Bills team who I like what the offense is doing. And honestly, as far as dropbacks, EPA per dropback and against the pass, it's still a below average defense. They've been okay defending the run, but it's just another week where I don't think Mike White is good, but it's going to be the 3rd straight week where he's playing a defense that can be attacked through the air. And they like everybody knows they deserved more points than they scored last week. The Bills defense is better than Minnesota, but I still think the Bills get theirs here. This total should be 45. I understand the move to the under here. The Jets defense is good, but it's beatable. Buffalo's offense is top 5 for me right now. So, excuse me. It's going to be a fighting a cold today. This is my flu game again. Me and Jimmy are just sickly. We're sick individuals betting the NFL this much, but we're sickly too because we have kids. I did take this over. I think I'm fine with that right now, even though it did move a little off the Sunday number down. If this is a spot where the weather turns out to be fine, I think you'll see some Sunday money on this over too, and it's going to close the liar. And if it rains, I guess I'm shit out of luck. But for the most part, rain does not affect the totals unless it's, like the Niners-Bears game where the rain was just outlandish. Like, a little bit of rain is not going to stop teams from moving the ball, from throwing, from scoring. It's really once the wind kicks in. So I don't think the wind's going to be too bad. I like these offenses, especially the Jets offense against a Bills team that can be beat through the air.
We can get you an over 43.5 at minus 108, currently available at Heritage. 43.5 minus 108, 44s on the board. Bet Chris Bookmaker moved to 43.5 as well. And no, it's not Birdie. Not the public's not all over the Jets, but 54% of the tickets out of just under 6,000 are on the Jets, but just 8% of the cash. Big bets have been coming in on the Bills. Over 43.5 at minus 108. And if you had a free $500 bet on the side at 9.5, who would it be on?
Man, probably still the Jets. I think it's too many points. I do think it's too many points for an offense that's clicking a little, and it's a good enough defense to keep the Bills from putting up 40. I do think this is like a 28-21 kind of game.
Leo said it says Jets cover. Mac Beaver says Bills unlikely to relinquish the number 1 seed. Troy Torrance says great opportunity for unders here, mostly in the prop market. Terry Walker leaning towards the Bills. And Birdie says this line is nuts, in my opinion. He says no rush to bet this, hoping we get a 10. Jets are being massively disrespected here. The Bills team is not as good as they appear. All right. There you have it. That's Jets Bills here. Andy on the over 43.5 at minus 108. I want to see what happens to this line. I certainly don't want to. I agree that the Jets should be alive here at this spread, but the fact that the big bets are still coming in on the Bills and it looks like a 10 is imminent just makes me want to take some time here and watch the market. That's the Highmark Stadium, Orchard Park, New York, Jets, Bills. Let's move on to the next game on the card, 1 p.m. Eastern. Cleveland Browns, 5-7, 2-4 on the road at Cincinnati Bengals, 8-4, 4-1 at home. We're at Paycor Stadium, Cincinnati, Ohio. 45 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 6 miles per hour. Take a look at the line history of this one here. Opened up with these Bengals minus 4.5. That went away quickly. We now have minus 6 on the board. From a total perspective, it opened up at 49.5 and has dropped down to 47.5. Let's take a look at the cash flow here for this one. 5,931 tickets in. Sports Insights has given line value to the Cincinnati Bengals, slight line value, about 15% at this number. But the bigger bets are coming in on the Browns. 19% of the tickets on the Browns, 56% of the cash. Obviously, the market shows no concern moving this to 6. 73% of the tickets are on the under, and we don't have a cash count. We won't have a cash count for 5 of these games for totals right now. The Deshaun Watson era got off to a disappointing start. 12 of 22, 131 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception in a 27-14 Browns win at the Texans. 53.4 quarterback rating was the lowest of his career. The Browns only put up 304 yards of offense. I mean, Donovan Peoples-Jones caught 3 passes for 44 yards, returned a punt, 76 yards for a touchdown. Amari Cooper caught 4 for 40. Njoku wasn't in the lineup. Chubb ran 17 times for 80. Denzel Ward returned a fumble for a touchdown. Tony Fields had an interception for a touchdown. John Johnson also had an interception. Cleveland didn't score on offense until a 43-yard field goal made it 17-8 with 10 minutes remaining. They got just 14 first downs. I just felt awful for everybody on the Texans because, you guys were right. And the idea that, Bobano still hit his Cleveland Browns team total over. Just shocking here. And the great for Bobano. I don't mean anything negative about that, but just shocking that the Browns could be so porous defense or offensively and still cash for everybody. And this wasn't, the Texans were just awful. Just atrocious. The Browns held the Texans offense to 1 of 12 on third down. The Browns did finish with 0 sacks and 2 quarterback hits, but they didn't need to put pressure. David Bell, wide receiver, injured his hand first quarter. Anthony Schwartz left in the third quarter. He's in concussion protocol. Sean Takataki injured his leg in the fourth quarter. He's going to miss the remainder of the season. He tore a knee ligament in the win. He started the past 5 games. They've already lost Anthony Walker Jr. to a quad injury for the season, Jacob Phillips to a pec injury for the season. So this defense is getting weaker as we speak. And as I said, Njoku missed his 3rd game in 5 weeks with that knee injury. Bengals coming off their 4th straight victory. Very impressive 27-24 win at home over the Chiefs. I said on the show last week, it could be possible here that the Bengals are the better football team. And I got roasted and annihilated for the comment in our chat. Not in our chat, excuse me, in the comment section of the video. But and those guys, they don't ever come back and say I'm wrong. And
they don't usually follow that up with mea culpa. But yeah, they they looked good, and that's in a division game. I talk about this so much. I usually lean towards a dog. I usually lean towards the under. A little bit of a contradiction in these moves with the Cincinnati taking money, but also the under. Correct, it's moved down a bit.
It has. So, and Skydragon says, wait a minute, that's what I said. That Skydragon said that.
I'm going to have to read back there. Yeah, I get. So, are you saying, so that's to say that the Cincinnati defense will step up and just limit this rusty quarterback who didn't look good against, honestly, the worst team. It is the worst team. That defense, the fact that the Browns offense didn't really do much all day, and eventually they didn't have to because they ended up getting some weird touchdowns 3 different other ways. But I was really unimpressed with at least just run the ball, man. If Watson's not gotten it yet, you have good running backs. So it's disappointing that the Browns weren't able to capitalize offensively. And the Bengals looked real good.
They looked really good.
This might be a bloodbath. I'm scared to take the +6 here because if this offense continues to play well and this defense is starting to come around, Reader's great. The secondary actually did some nice things to limit the Chiefs. It's still a Chiefs game, so they're going to get theirs. But the Cincinnati team might be very good. This is a Cincinnati team that's live to. Man, it was just full ass Super Bowl hangover early in the season, wasn't it? Everyone was on it, but this team's super live to win the division if you have some futures on that, and they're super live to win some playoff games. Burrow's going to play that well, and they're going to have all 3 receivers healthy. Then it's a scary team. So this might just end up being a blowout. If Watson doesn't pick it up a little from last week, it's a blowout. So I'm staying away from this with the continued uncertainty around the Cleveland Browns quarterback. But if he comes out and doesn't even look good in the scripted portion of the game, I might be live betting Cincinnati. And it might be a case where I don't care if I'm betting, -7.5 at that point.
Jamar Chase sure looked good. Missed 4 games with that hip injury, 7 catches for 97 yards. Tyler Boyd, 4 for 60. Samaje Perine, my goodness, ran 21 times for 106 yards, caught 6 for 49. I kind of went into that thinking that, this guy is so good out of the backfield as a receiver. I didn't think that he was capable of really pushing it on the ground the way he did. Zach Taylor does think that Mixon will clear concussion protocols this week and be back. The Bengals defense held the Chiefs to 349 yards and shut them out in the fourth quarter. 2 sacks, 8 quarterback hits. Tight end Hayden Hurst suffered a right calf injury in the first half. He was ruled out, and he's doubtful to go this week. So Hayden Hurst is unlikely, or doubtful. Should leave it at that. 6.2 yards per play over the last 3 games for these Bengals. 6.5 yards per play against the Chiefs. And all of a sudden, this offensive line is protecting Burrow. All of a sudden, they're playing like one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Over his last 3 games, Burrow has been sacked on 3.6% of his dropbacks. That's the sixth best mark in the NFL over that stretch. I think Birdie's right. Cincinnati coming off a huge win versus the Chiefs. I mean, we see what happens when teams come off these sort of season-defining wins, and we saw what happened with the Jaguars last week. That would make the Bengals sort of very close to a no-go, but I don't want anything to do with the Browns until we see something from Deshaun Watson. So, Birdie says Bengals have Tampa Bay next week. Rick Shop giving us Bengals 35-0 at the half again. Alex Ramirez says high-powered offense clicking Bengals dominant. And yeah, I at this point, the whole idea of selling high and buying low, or trying to at least. Nutflush says, like we talked to me, if Burrow is not getting rushed, then the team totals are gold with Cincinnati. Maybe that's a way to look at it here. Team totals. What do you think of this total overall right now, sitting at 47.5? Do you agree with this 2-point move down from 49.5?
Yeah, like I said, I don't quite understand it. If Cincinnati's taking money, I guess the sentiment in the market is that the Browns offense isn't going to be as good with Deshaun Watson, which is funny considering what they gave up to get him. This is your franchise quarterback, but he might just be, he might just be bad right now while he gets the rust knocked off and tries to figure out a new offense.
Mac Beaver says Garrett gave Brady fits. Myles Garrett is hurt. I mean, the best move would have been to take his under a half sack last game, because he talked about how much pain his shoulder's in. He said, it felt like I broke something. I have so much pain, but of course he's there in the lineup. He does not look good. And how many injuries is, the Browns defense going to take? So, all right, there's no chance I want anything to do with the Browns here.
No,
but I don't want to buy the Bengals after their win over the Chiefs. So this is going to take more time for a move. We've seen the total drop 2 points.